Man, the jet lag is really starting to set in. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 4 of the Vanquish VS4-10 Fordyce budget build-off. If you're not familiar with the budget build format, forget everything you knew anyway, because this one's all different. We're using the Wheel of Fordyce to choose the budget and constraints for each week. I mean, the base budget is $60 a week, but we've included the wheel to add a bit more flair and excitement and possibilities to this one. And this week was no different. I unfortunately wasn't available for last week's live stream. Josh had to have someone fill in. He got Ding Dong from West Desert Wheeler to fill in for me. Apparently it was a good show. I haven't watched it yet. I've been a little busy. I did, however, watch the section where I found out I would be spending $10 on Hot Wheels this week. So instead of the regular $60 budget, I had $50 to work with, and I had to spend $10 of the $60. Why is this so confusing? I had $60, 10 of which I had to spend on Hot Wheels, and I did. I got this cool set. This has got 5 drift cars in it. The Hot Wheels Drift Collection. There's a good one in there, the AE86. That one could be ripe for my very first Hot Wheels mod. I may change that one up a little bit and make it look like something a little more familiar. A nice little collection of drift cars. Yeah, that's nice. Not any of which I could actually incorporate into the build. However, I did get another thing, and because it is Hot Wheels branded, I think this cool skateboard is going to look really nice as an additional accessory on the VS4-10 Fordyce. And speaking of, here it is. Now, this week was a big week. I actually took that $50 remaining plus the few dollars left over from last week and have come up with a couple of really cool things. One of which you can see right here. It's the Scale Metal Supplies Bend and Braze front bumper. And this bumper is awesome. I have used this before on the VS4-10 mail truck that Westmade did the body for. I think it looks awesome, and I like leaving it raw like this. This is cool to me. I think it adds some character to this truck. However, if you are not into that, maybe put a comment down below and let me know if you think I should prime and paint that bumper or leave it raw. My vote's for raw, so we'll see what the public thinks. Yeah. Anyway, bending and brazing this bumper is so easy, and it's really, you know, one of those things. I think brazing is one of those things that you should definitely have in your arsenal when you are building tiny trucks. It really does give you a lot more possibilities for building bumpers or cages or sliders or any number of things really that require brazing. It's a really useful skill, and it's not very difficult. If I can do it, certainly you can. I do have a video up here. You can watch that at your leisure, where I do some brazing and kind of walk you through the whole process. But more importantly, I've done the whole process on this front bumper, and it's really quite simple. Start by removing it from the package. Once it's out of the package, I suggest you bend it. And the way in which this whole bumper is sort of put together, it's really super easy to do all of that bending because it's pretty self-explanatory. You want it to be a bumper shape. Once you have that shape, it's really super easy from there. Use a couple of bumper tabs. You can either buy these or you can opt to buy a set of them, and then just do some measuring. Measuring's the most important thing, so do it twice. And then cut. I cut both of the bumper tabs to the appropriate length for this bumper and this application and the distance I wanted it from the actual chassis mounts. And then I just brazed both of those bumper tabs in place and added a little more brazing into some of the gaps or joints, so it felt a little cleaner and kind of closed up all those joints. And then let everything cool off, did some filing, and then I installed it. It's not hard. It really isn't. It's basically, I think this took me about half an hour to do the whole thing, start to finish. So you can probably do it in 15. But yeah, I think it adds a nice DIY dimension to this truck. And yes, there's been a lot of 3D printing, but there's really nothing quite like brazing for adding some character to a truck. I think it looks great, and it is a little more functional than the other bumper. You do get more points if this were ever to go into Sorka, which it isn't. But what I really like about it is that it's stronger than the plastic bumper, and is going to take a lot more abuse than that bumper will as well. I think it looks great. It's nice that Scale Metal Supplies includes that little anvil detail in the center there. You could use that as a fairlead hole if you were going to add a winch at some point in the future. That's not a hint. Probably won't be enough money for that. But there you go. That's the brunt of the work for this week. If I had more time and I hadn't just gotten back from Ireland a day ago, and also wasn't super jet lagged, because it's basically 2 in the morning for me right now, I would probably design a little mount for this Hot Wheels skateboard for the side of the truck here. I bet you know what? Let's take this out right now. I'm not going to use those shoes. I'm not going to start doing kick flips in the basement. Yeah, that's great. It's got like a sandpapery finish to it, just like a regular skateboard. It's got the wheels. And wow, the trucks even work. That's pretty cool. That's neat. Little tiny rubber gaskets in there. I bet you can modify those too. Anyway, what I'd like to do is make a little mount for the skateboard so we can stick it on the side there. I'll probably 3D print that, get that designed up, and we'll have that ready for the next episode, which will be episode 5. There will be a delay. I'm going to tell you right now. There's going to be a delay in the episodes. Josh is currently away, unable to do any more work because I was away the previous week. There's just no way that I can give him a spin and give him ample time to do it. There won't be time. So I think we're going to have to put a gap between this episode and the next one. But yeah, that's going to look pretty cool on there, I think. And kind of just integrate that whole Hot Wheels thing into this build. And then we'll start doing some fun stuff with stickers. Or maybe paint. Who knows? Whatever the budget will allow. And speaking of, we should talk about the tally for the week, which is going to require a calculator. Wow, I'm wrong. This math is actually very easy. Yes. The Bend and Braze bumper is $35 from Scale Metal Supplies, and the long set of bumper tabs that I used on this bumper are $15, giving me a grand total of $50 spent this week, plus the $10 on Hot Wheels. So I spent all $60. No carryover. Carryover from last week, which is $7.03. So I have that going into week 5. Yes, amazing. I'm really happy with this. I think it looks great. It's like DIY with somebody holding your hand. But there you go. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I think we're going to have to pause next week, so there won't be another episode of Budget Build next week, but lots of other content to come. So I hope you will stay tuned for that. Yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. See you again very soon.